Today, we are talking about one of the biggest obstacles to success and our empowerment, fear. But before we get started, family, I do have to say this. According to the metrics I get from the channel, a lot of people are watching, but 80-90% of people watching are not subscribing. So I'm going to humbly ask that you take that finger of yours, you press that red subscribe button, and help us to spread this life-sustaining and consciousness-raising and potentially transformative information of self-empowerment to our people all over the world. Thank you. Napoleon Hill, in his legendary book Think and Grow Rich, identifies 6 fears that derail most human beings. Fear of poverty, criticism, bad health, losing the love of someone, old age, and the fear of death. But when we dig deeper, we see that these fears challenge the things we value most. Things like love, safety, control, and connection with others. Poverty represents vulnerability. Criticism represents rejection or embarrassment. Aging and sickness remind us of pain and dependency, and death, well, of course, that's the ultimate fear of the unknown. And this brings us to an important question, family. Why do we even feel fear in the first place? Most people think that fear is emotional, but really it's biological. The moment we sense danger, our brain's amygdala sounds the alarm. This triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response, and this floods our body with stress hormones, things like adrenaline and cortisol. And these things help us to respond to fear, but they also do damage to our bodies. Our heart rate rises, muscles tense, and blood flow shifts to prepare us for survival. This was fine back in prehistoric times when our ancestors lived side by side with predatory, dangerous animals that could take our lives at any minute. We needed that sort of fight or flight response, right? But this same system often misfires at modern day challenges. Things like fear of speaking in public, starting a business, sharing an idea and risking rejection or humiliation. This idea of fear is widespread. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, about 1 in 5 adults in the United States, roughly 40 million people, experience some type of anxiety disorder each year. And nearly 1/3 of us will face it at some point in our lives. Chronic fear doesn't just affect our minds, though, family. It can weaken our immune system, raise our blood pressure, and increase the risk of heart disease. The good news is that science also demonstrates that our brain is flexible. With consistent practice, the right exposure, and mindset shifts, we can actually retrain our brains to respond to fear in healthier ways. Now that we understand the science, let's clarify the difference between concern versus fear. Concern compels us to do something, to act. It helps us to prepare, to take action, to research, to protect ourselves and our loved ones. But fear paralyzes us. It makes us freeze, run in the opposite direction, avoid responsibilities, miss opportunities, and grossly exaggerate the nature of our problems. My goal in doing this video is not to suggest that we should not be concerned, but it is to help us transform our fear precisely into focused and constructive concern. So how do we do this in real life? Here are a few proven strategies you can start using today. Number 1, convert fear into a plan. Write down what you're afraid of, family, and then ask yourself, what steps can I take to address this problem? You're afraid of old age? Start exercising. Save for retirement. Strengthen your support network. Number 2, do your research. Fear thrives on ignorance. So the more accurate information you have about an issue, the smaller it becomes, the more manageable it becomes. So for example, studies show that people who actively seek information about what they fear experience significantly less anxiety compared to those who don't. Number 3, practice acceptance. Some things are beyond our control, family. Aging, death, or other people's opinions. Accepting this frees us from wasting energy and time on things and people we cannot change, and that is so very important. Number 4, reframe the challenge. Don't see obstacles as monsters. See them as puzzles or tests that will make you stronger and more resilient or resourceful. The great NBA legend Kobe Bryant had a whole life philosophy called the Mamba mentality, And one part of his mentality was that he saw challenges as opportunities to rise and demonstrate who he was and what he was about. Opportunities to become more resourceful, more knowledgeable, and things of that nature. Number 5, visualizations and affirmations. Picture yourself, family, in the face of adversity with problems and saying things like, I have the courage to face any challenge. I am capable of solving any problem. Number 6, control the body and you calm the mind. Deep breathing and meditation. Tell your nervous system it's going to be all right. We okay. We'll get through this. In fact, a 2017 study in Frontiers in Psychology magazine found that deep breathing significantly reduced cortisol, the body's main stress hormone that causes all those medical problems we talked about earlier. Another 2024 study in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health found that guided breathing exercises measurably reduce stress and anxiety in patients. And this shows us just how powerful meditation and this deep breathing really is. Number 7, take small steps. Face fears gradually. If public speaking scares you, you don't like speaking in front of big crowds, speak in front of small crowds. Make announcements in the church. Make announcements at your organizational meeting. Each small win done consistently builds great confidence and it weakens fear's grip. Do not get caught up in this thing that you're going to do something really big once a year or 3 times a year. But if you do small things every day, family, the cumulative compound effect of that is enormous. Number 8, lean on your community, family. Fear thrives in isolation, so when you're afraid of something or you have serious concerns or anxieties, don't keep that to yourself. Most people would say go to a therapist, which is something you can do. And you can also talk to your trusted friends, or relatives, mentors, or coaches to provide you perspective and hold you accountable and check in on you and make sure that they follow up with you. This is not about never having things you're afraid of in your life. That's going to happen. This is about developing the willingness and the ability to move forward despite any fears or concerns you have. You know, the great Marcus Garvey once said and wrote, what man has done, man can do. And others before you in your family or in history have faced huge problems and their own fears, and they overcame them. And if they can do it, and they are no better than you or I, that means we have the same capacity to overcome our own fears and anxieties. Most of all, family, remember, fears are often half-truths mixed with a whole lot of over-imagination, becoming almost illusions. A lot of the things people most fear never happens, never materializes the way they envision it will. Don't let fears, anxieties, rob you of opportunities to meet beautiful people, to join powerful organizations, explore your talents, your gifts, to grow, expand yourself, or live a more fulfilled life. I'm confident that if you apply these strategies, you'll find yourself stronger and more resilient than any fear that you may currently have. Please leave your comments about what you thought of the video or some of the fears that you've been able to overcome. Share that with us, family, and have a blessed day. Peace.